Welcome back, Pokemon fans. We had a little bit of a technical glitch here at the Forge. The entire Wi-Fi went down. Max and I have been talking about Pokemon, believe it or not. But we're actually going to go live to our two seniors who are playing right now. Benjamin versus Wyatt. They are well into their game. Benjamin playing Chien-Pao. Wyatt playing Tina with some spice in there, I believe. Actually, we were just talking about this. Chien-Pao, a deck that is extremely powerful. Doesn't have the best matchup into Giratina as long as they get their Manaphy down. But what do you think, Max?
Yeah, I think a point of contention in Tina-less is, do you play the Manaphy? Do you not play the Manaphy? So I think whether or not they're playing the Manaphy really can determine a lot in this matchup.
Thank you, everyone, for your patience while we were trying to get the stream back up as fast as possible.
Yeah, Iron Hands very, very good in this matchup. Taking 2 prizes on a Comfey or a Cramorant is very strong, obviously. And then, yeah, just the thing with Chien-Pao is there's a lot of specific sequencing you have to do. You want to make sure that you're maximizing the amount of cards you see each turn, so that way you're able to string together your most powerful turn. So that involves a lot of thinning your hand down, drawing it with B-Barrel, and then using either concealed cards or the Chien-Pao's ability to grab energies out of the deck. And it looks like the Giratina player is not playing
Seeing a Manaphy.
the Manaphy. So that definitely opens the door for this Radiant Greninja to pop off. And it looks like this Chien-Pao player is up 3 prizes left to Giratina's 5 prizes left. Giratina's board pretty weak. We're seeing just a Comfey and a Tina V on the field. Looks like we might have needed a judge call here. Didn't quite catch what might have happened.
All right, Noah going to grab a judge real quick, checking out what happened. Thanks to everybody who's watching this with us. We did have a technical difficulty in the middle of the game. Andrew, our technical guy, working really hard to get us back up and streaming. Max, we were actually discussing the sequencing on the Chien-Pao, how I'm actually surprised that juniors and seniors can play it successfully. It's a powerful deck, but sometimes when you're going up against Tina or Charizard that have the extremely high health, you've got to find that 5 or 6 energy. You have to discard 5 energy off of the Chien-Pao to take out a Tina in one swing. You have to find 6 energy, which usually they play 7 or 8 total in their deck, attach to that Chien-Pao or any of your other water Pokemon to take out a Charizard. So it's a technically very challenging deck, but it's deceptively so, because getting your board set up with the Excalibur to use its super cold ability to attach energy, that's challenging with a barrel in play and trying to sequence things correctly to see the most amount of cards like you were talking about, and then find the water energy and then put the water energy in the correct place to actually make this deck function.
Yeah, and all the while in this matchup, dodging Path to the Peak, which
Yes.
this deck really doesn't want to see. The Shivery Chill so important, and Concealed Guard so important to stringing together your turns.
Yep. You were saying that you had actually brought this deck to the World Championships last year. That's how much you liked it.
I did. I liked it a lot. It looked a little bit different back then. The Canadian Chien-Pao list, they get the credit for solving Chien-Pao, I think, with the double B-Barrel. At the time, I was playing it with the Arceus V-Star, which was one of the more popular ways to play it at the time.
Sure.
Just Arceus V-Star lets you get 2 cards out of your deck. Pretty good for setting up. And like we said, if Chien-Pao sets up, it can do a lot of really powerful things.
All right, looks like we're going to see Noah here potentially using a Shred attack on that Chien-Pao, doing 160 damage, going through any effects on your opponent's Pokemon. Kind of a repeat of the Gale or the Gust question before. Why do we call attacks that go through opponents' effects and what have you and abilities? Why do we call that a Shred attack?
Yeah, Shred is just the name of a lot of attacks that have that ability. Like Giratina's attack is just straight up called Shred. But there's been other attacks, any attack that does it. Like, for example, Duraludon VMAX is called, his attack is Gmax Pulverization. That's also a Shred effect, but for the most part, the Shred effects are typically called Shred.
All right, we're going to see Noah successfully found that Giratina V-Star using concealed cards from the Radiant Greninja. Kind of a common theme in a lot of these decks. I do believe that Benjamin is playing it as well. Indeed he is. Just a draw ability and the attack is pretty good. It looks like, how many do we have in the Lost Zone there? We've got 7 in the Lost Zone. So we might be one short with this Colress to use the V-Star ability of the Giratina V-Star, but still able to do 280 and take out the Qian Pao.
Yeah, and it looks like the Giratina player, Noah, is playing a copy of Avery in his deck, which is a very, very good card in this matchup. Qian Pao wants to go very wide with its board, have multiple B-Barrels, multiple Baxcaliburs set up, so Avery can kind of disrupt that. So maybe just thinking about if he was able to get to that Avery.
All right, eyeing up Nest Ball, potentially counting his energy right now, actually. Preparing probably to get a Sableye to take out that Frigibax or put some more damage on Benjamin's bench after this turn. Noah, we've featured on the stream a couple times before. A very skilled player. I think he's 13 years old. If he goes to regional, you're going to see his name up on the top 8 and definitely leaving with hardware would be my guess. An extremely skilled player, usually playing these lost archetypes, which is not something you see a lot of juniors and seniors play successfully, but he does it surprisingly well. So good for you, Noah.
Yeah, Lost Zone decks are typically one of the more difficult decks to play. There's a lot of like micro decisions you have to make throughout the game. So any junior that's able to pilot that deck well is sure to see some success.
All right, Noah, looks like we're going to see 280 damage coming down on that Qian Pao. He does have to Lost Zone 2 energy, which will bring him up to and beyond the 10 required to use Lost minus Sableye. So this is an attack that has an added bonus, which was, I think, designed to be a bad thing. You had to Lost Zone your energy, but in this Sableye, bringing it over the 10 it needs to Lost mine is actually a benefit at this point. He does need to keep that grass energy, so probably see the Psychic and the Water energy or one of the grasses get discarded so that he can use the V-Star ability to one-shot anything on its opponent's board. We go down to 1 prize card remaining, which is why that Sableye is on the bench.
Yeah, so big turn for Benjamin here. Gonna need to find a KO onto this Giratina V-Star. Has a good start, though. The no path to the peak in play, does have Qian Pao in the active, Baxcalibur to work with, just doesn't have the B-Barrel set up, so is gonna have to get there through use of concealed cards and Shivery Chill.
And right now, I would think that Benjamin would need to lock something in the active just to buy himself another turn. But unfortunately for Benjamin, if Noah leaves this Giratina V-Star in the active, it will take the knockout. And if the Giratina V-Star is knocked out, the Sableye will be able to place damage counters on Frigibax the next turn. Could level it up into a Baxcalibur to get enough health to avoid that if he can find a rare candy. But I don't think that he is playing a Radiant Jirachi, so he can't prevent that damage from being set down by that Sableye. So right now, I do think Benjamin needs to prioritize getting that Frigibax leveled up into a Baxcalibur just to prevent that Sableye return KO, because it wouldn't be able to one-shot anything on his side and would buy him an additional turn.
I see. I think what happened on that judge call looks like Benjamin might have gotten issued a 2 prize penalty. So it looks like from what I'm seeing on Noah's side, it looks like those 2 prizes are set aside separately. So it looks like, yeah, Noah is just going to need to take 1 more prize to win this game. I think from what I can tell, I thought Benjamin had 2 prizes left. It looks like it actually might be 3. So I don't think there's a way for Benjamin to win this turn.
Where there's a will, there's a way, Max. You can't ever give up. Sometimes the heart of the cards, your opponent will make a catastrophic error and you can win the game that way.
You never know. You never know. It looks like he's going to use Qian Pao's attack to do 240 to this Giratina. So if he hadn't gotten that 2 prize penalty, may have been able to win next turn with the Radiant Greninja, taking 3 prizes. But yeah, just going to KO and take the last prize card needed to win that game.
I love the handshake. All of our juniors here at the Forge, and we wish we could show a little bit more of these juniors playing on stream. Sorry, we had some technical difficulties here at the Forge. It's nice seeing the juniors and seniors playing very kindly to each other. All of them very skilled, but also the main priority is them just generally being kind. Yeah, so the stream's back up. We'll be back here in a little bit with an interview with the winner, Noah. And then after that, I do believe we have 1 more round of the Masters finishing up the League Challenge here. I'll try to do some conversation as well about some upcoming A-Spec cards in the interim. So yeah, stick around. We'll be right back interviewing Noah. Welcome back, Pokemon fans. I am here with the winner, Noah. Noah, we don't know what happened in the first part of the game. Would you like to care to tell us how the first part of the game went? It looks like you were down a little bit, but then what happened?
It was rough. I started Cramorant in the active, and I benched Comfey and passed. So.
All right. Bench Comfey and then passed. So later in the game when we were actually started, the stream came back up, we noticed that there was a prize penalty that was issued, and it looks like you had to take 2 less prizes?
Yeah. So,
all right. At that point, I'm assuming you were like, all right, I can win this.
Yeah. Without that, I don't think I could have won that game.
That sometimes just not making mistakes is indeed a strategy. Yeah. So late in the game, you get your Mirage Gates down, you start getting your Giratina V-Stars developed. What are you looking to do at that point?
Just basically put him into a position where even if he takes a knockout, I will still win with the next Pokemon on my bench. We
did see that you developed that Sableye. I do like that you were counting to make sure that you had enough in the Lost Zone, because once you declare the attack and you don't have it, unfortunately you're using Scratch, I believe.
Yeah.
All right, so you going into the end of the game, you had the win locked in. How are you feeling at that point?
Great, because I've been on stream, I think 4 times, and I've lost every time.
I think I've interviewed you once.
Yeah.
All right. We were talking about, though, if you ever find your way to a regional tournament, I think we're going to see you in the top 8, and you might actually come home with some hardware. So everyone keep an eye on Noah here. I think he's one of the rising stars we got in the local scene. You got us on stream. Is there anyone you want to say hi to? Any friends that are going to watch us later?
Not really.
All right, cool. Don't forget to open your prize packs. And a reminder for everyone, don't forget to use the discount code Pokemon Stream Discount. If you do come play on stream or you're chosen to play on stream, you do get a pack for playing, and then we actually give you a pack for winning as well. So yeah, stick around. We'll be back with the final match of the Masters. Welcome back, Tuesday night Pokemon fans. I'm once again joined by the handsome Max Johnson. Max, we've got the #1 most wanted card coming out here in Temporal Forces, Prime Catcher. It's up on the screen so you guys can see it. Switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon to the active spot. If you do, switch your active Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon. Max, why is this card broken and why should we fear it?
Sure. So this effect was most recently seen as cross switchers, which is in format right now. But you need 2 of them. So if you want to play all of the cross switchers you can, that's taking up 4 spots in your deck. Before that, it was seen as a supporter called Guzma, which was one of the best gusting supporters we've ever seen.
Oh, is that what we call this? The Guzma gun?
The Guzma gun is a lot of people will refer to it as. It's just a really strong effect. Gust on an item will always be very, very strong because then you can pair that with either Hand Disruption or some other supporter. It allows you to play supporter to draw into it too, if your hand is dead. And yeah, I know this is one of the first A specs that they revealed, and people saw this and said, how can it possibly get better than this?
How could you do this to it? I will say, when they showed us Iron Hands, it was the same reaction.
Sure.
When they revealed Lugia's V-Star ability, it was the same reaction. Granted, Lugia did make the format really painful for a little while, but the cool thing is anyone can play this because it's a gust effect. It's not specific. It is. I'm glad that they're bringing back this mechanic, because they had this mechanic a couple of rotations ago.
Yeah.
Which there's not this particular A spec that you can use. I'm actually hoping that we get a computer search again, but that card is completely, unbelievably broken. Mostly just because I own an original version of it, so I want to be able to play that. But yeah, this is probably the A spec card that you're going to see in the majority of the decks. Maybe with the exception of Charizard playing the maximum belt. But this is the card.
Yeah,
Capital
this is the
T.
card to have.
All right. Any other thoughts you'd like to offer on the Prime Catcher Max? Oh, expert of stall.
No, I'm just excited to see such a strong like A spec. I think it's gonna really shake up the format, and it's gonna be cool to see like what decks are playing what A specs.
Indeed. So we'll be right back with the fourth and final round of the Masters. This will be between the two Masters who are vying for the challenge win here tonight. Should be a great game. You got brief time to get a snack. We will be right back. Cheers. Welcome back, Tuesday Night Pokemon fans. Had a little bit of a mix-up there. We are into our final game now. Unfortunately, the two top players decided to intentionally draw. Max and I can't figure that out. We wish them all the best in their endeavors, but they did draw. So we've got an interesting game here between Sam, who we've featured previously, and who is Sam playing?
Sam is playing...
Is it Alex? Should have done our homework before.
Should have done our homework a little bit.
Right. I think Alex is playing Giratina V-Star. Sam, we've seen previously playing on her Roaring Moon deck. Oh, yep, it is definitely Giratina V-Star. We'll be able to figure that out here in 1 second.
Alex.
It is Alex. There we go. I knew it was Alex. All right, we can jump to the game there. And who's watching, thank you so much for sticking with us tonight. Don't forget to use the discount code here in the store, Pokemon Stream Discount. You can get 10% off anything you buy for the next week here in the store. That's 10% off anything you buy. You want to spend $1 million? We would really appreciate that. All right, Sam starting with a Morpeko. That is her ideal start and a Battle VIP pass. Is this a repeat of the first game that we saw? She gets everything she wants?
Well, maybe not this time, because on Alex's side, he has elected to start a second Pokemon on his bench.
Indeed. Spiritomb shutting down that Galarian Moltres.
Yeah, pretty big deal in this matchup. The deck really relies on Moltres being able to accelerate an energy from the discard every turn, just to keep the energy flowing. So, gonna make things a little bit more difficult for Sam. She'll still have the option to use the 4 Seal Stones Star Alchemy V-Star power.
All right, opting for Squawk to see 6 cards. That Squawk and Seize ability, discard your discard your hand only on your first turn, and then you get to see 6 new cards, but you can only use that on your first turn. So it's like a Battle VIP pass, but worse, but also better. At the same time, you do have a 2-prize liability on your bench. That Spiritomb benching, though, that is a great spot, Max. That is a tough start because Galarian Moltres V with its Dire Flame Wings ability is the way this deck gets energy into play as fast as possible.
Yeah, and very fortunate for Alex to just have it. I guess it looks like he did go first. So you can see that attachment on the Giratina. So it looks like Sam has a decent shot at getting that turn 1 KO. Gonna be harder, like we said, without the use of the Moltres. Oh, Sam eyeing up a tough choice here. Had Iono and Boss in our opening hand, so
does not play any Pal Pad to recover any resources as far as I'm aware, so those are gone forever.
Yeah, I think it was the right call, because if she wants to get an attack off this turn to KO the Giratina, she is going to need to play Professor Sada's Vitality, as she does not have use of that Moltres.
If she is able to get an attack off with the Stadium in play, that Pokestop in play, that would be absolutely devastating to Alex's board state. He is just probably going to be relying next turn on an Abyss Seeking to both build up his Lost Zone and just see more cards.
Yeah, definitely. And it looks like Sam is going to be grabbing the Radiant Greninja here. Makes a lot of sense. And is going to go for the second moon. Yeah, makes sense.
Could you make the case, though, that if you really needed to develop your board on Sam's side to take out that Spiritomb, just because it's very unlikely that Alex is going to develop this Giratina next turn?
Yeah, I think if you have the opportunity, if you're able to get the KO onto the Giratina, I think you take it for
Take
sure.
the 2 prizes versus the board state? Ooh, that was a punishing Pokestop.
That is very unfortunate. Discarding both the Professor Sada's Vitalities in the deck. Quite unfortunate. They were just at the very wrong spot. If maybe she had Pokestop first, would have maybe seen them, but no way to know that.
Professor Sada's going down, not able to use the energy transfer off the Dire Flame Wings Galarian Moltres V. We're seeing a lot of the energy acceleration options being shut down right now, both by that Pokestop, bad luck, and a Spiritomb preventing the Galarian Moltres ability. Attach return to the Roaring Moon EX.
Yeah, I don't think she's going to be able to quite get there. At the very least, I don't think she was going to be able to get there even without the Spiritomb in play, because it looks like she didn't hit any dark patches.
Does have 1 energy in the discard pile, so if she finds a dark patch, she will be able to use that.
I do think...
Collapse Stadium? Oh, Avery, excuse me. Discarding down to...
Yeah, easy choice there.
Bench.
Just getting rid of a Squawkabilly. She did have access to the 4 Sealstone that turn, so maybe could have chosen to Sealstone for the Sadas before Pokestopping just to guarantee that you had it.
You'll have to tell her that.
I probably will.
All right, Alex opting to get another Giratina V-Star, powering up the Giratina V. Path of the Peak going down, double preventing the Glaring Moltres ability, and concealed cards now turned off on that Radiant Greninja. Path of the Peak, another card that's going to rotate. A lot of people, I'm going to miss it in some regards, but in other ways it'll be nice to actually play the game sometimes. Path of the Peak stopping all rule box Pokemon's abilities. So no concealed cards, no Glaring Moltres, Dire Flame Wings.
Looks like Sam top decked Earthen Vessel. Pretty good card here. I think Alex still just trying to figure out what he's pitching off of this Abyss Seek.
Is Abyss Seeking pick 4, get rid of 2?
Yep.
Okay. Seeing opt to get a escape rope and something. A water energy?
Water or grass, kind of hard to tell.
Do you see the Colress experiment though for next turn? So we'll be able to see more cards and build that up. Sam right now though reestablishing her board with a Roaring Moon EX, and then going to see a concealed cards as well.
I think she's just noting that she can't.
Noting she can't. That's actually really smart. Put the marker down to make sure that you don't do it because it looks like you've already used it. Unfortunately, if you do use concealed cards and see a couple extra cards while Path of the Peak is in play, it is a minimum 2 prize penalty, I believe.
Yeah.
It swing games fairly quickly.
Yeah, I don't know if she has the Dark Patch in hand. If not, I was going to say maybe you could elect to use that Seal Stone to grab a Dark Patch, but decides to hold on to the Seal Stone for now.
All right, right now, Alex is looking to establish his board. He does only have 2 in the Lost Zone. Giratina getting a bit of a slow start. Colress experiment, though, going to allow him to, it looks like, keep another Colress for next turn. Having seen Sam get rid of that Iono, it's less likely his hand will be disrupted. Let's see what he's choosing between, though. Going to keep the Colress and 2 other mystery cards. It's like a Sableye. That is a good late game attacker, but right now he's 8 short of getting that into Lost Zone. If he could get a Comfey established, he could retreat into it and just see 2 more cards and keep that Giratina alive. But opting to get rid of a Comfey.
Yeah, but actually doesn't necessarily even need to get to 7 this turn. Has 2 energies on the Giratina. Just needs to find a Grass Energy in the V-Star. I guess maybe we'll just see a Shred here as Sam has more Pico in the active.
We talked about that earlier. The Shred kind of going through any abilities. More Pico not having any that would prevent damage like a Mimikyu, but still doing 160 damage. So not a bad attacker. And if he is able to place more damage on this Roaring Moon, the Roaring Moon will take itself out during the I always forget the name of this attack. Frenzied Gouging.
Frenzied Gouging.
Doing 200 damage to itself. So sometimes it takes you out and it takes itself out.
All right, Sam finally able to get an attacker powered up. Going to just, Calamity Storm, discard that Path to the Peak, and take 2 prize cards.
Doing 220 damage, exactly what she needs versus the Giratina V. Going down to 4 prize cards. Interested to see now how Alex responds. This Colress is going to get him up to 6 in the Lost Zone. If he could find a Lost Vacuum to get rid of something like the Force Seal Stone on Sam's side, he could get up to that 7 in the Magic Mirage Gate. At the same time, potentially pulling off the V-Star. I'll see what he decides to grab.
Yeah, and kind of a really awkward board state for Alex. Doesn't really have much going here. The Spiritomb has put in a lot of work in this matchup, but going to need a little bit more than that to get enough resources to win this game. Finally finds a Comfey and benches that immediately.
I think we do see a V-Star in hand.
So if he has enough switching cards, could find a way to get Lost Impact this turn. If Alex is able to Lost Impact this turn, I think it would be very difficult for Sam to respond with a KO. Her hand's not looking too great. Still doesn't see too many Dark Patches. Doesn't have a free retreater set up on board.
And on that note, too, this will put him in 7 Lost Zone. So if he can find a Mirage Gate in his hand, he can go get the 2 energy that he needs to attach to the Giratina V-Star. Does have to get it into the active, though. So he could attach retreat to the Comfey, but then his resources kind of grow a little bit more slim as we go by. 2 Mirage Gates would get him there at this point, though. Do you see 1 being moved forward? Maybe go into the deck and see if the energy's there. See 2 energy into the Lost Zone. Giratina V-Star's attack does put 2 of those energy into the Lost Zone like we saw in the last game with Noah. So the resources can get pretty thin pretty quickly with this Giratina V-Star, but if you're taking 2 prize knockouts, you only have to do it 3 times.
Yeah, and just trying to decide which energies to grab here. We definitely saw a Grass Energy, and it looks like that's the... I think he just had Grass Energies left in the deck. So if he wants to get this attack off, is likely going to need to find a Super Rod to put a Psychic back. I don't know. Did he have a Psychic Energy in the discard?
I can't see. It does seem like maybe a little bit of a misplay not counting your energy before you went in with a Mirage Gate and not getting the energy you need. Has not attached Return yet, though. But unfortunately, he's not at 10 to be able to use that V-Star ability to knock out this Roaring Moon.
Yeah, I think might have prized. Seems like he prized a couple Psychic Energies here, so might just have to go with a Cram Spit attack. Not the worst option here. By Cram Spitting, you make it so that way if you decide to Frenzy Gouge this Giratina V-Star, you'll be knocking yourself out.
At the same time, too, this Cram will survive the Calamity Storm attack from the Roaring Moon if Sam does not find a stadium. So you buy yourself some time to actually go find what you need, and if you do lose one prize, not the end of the world. Putting Sam... Actually, Sam would be back on even prizes, though.
Yes. One small thing to note, Sam actually does play one card that's kind of, you don't really see too much in Roaring Moon, is the Vitality Band. So actually kind of relevant in this matchup because it will allow you to KO Cram without discarding a stadium with Calamity Storm.
Does Cram have 110 health?
110 health.
That is absolutely fantastic.
So we'll see if she...
Does have it in hand.
Look at that. Yeah, if it doesn't have... Yeah, I don't hate also just going for the Pokemon catcher onto the Giratina.
I was talking about earlier, if you can take 2 prizes from their main attacker, this Roaring Moon would survive another Spit instantly as well, so you have another attacker that can still take it out with the Vitality Band. If you were to... I suppose Calamity Storm will do 100. Doesn't have a stadium, so you can't do 220 to the V-Stars, so you would have to knock yourself out and then establish another attacker. Yeah. Sam does have 1 Dark Energy, opting to take the Cramorant out, though. I say she does have 1 energy on a partially developed Roaring Moon, but her board state is tough because she doesn't have anything that can go into the active and then retreat if she finds the Dark Patches.
Yeah, I think she had a couple energy switches in hand, so if she's able to get into a Dark Patch next turn, could just need attach, return, energy switch.
With those 2 Pokestops as well, she is able to take 220 damage if Alex were to bench another Giratina V-Star. I think Alex is kind of seeing, though, that if he is to put another Giratina V-Star down, that is a liability for any Roaring Moon to take a knockout on it without damaging itself. So I think a smart move from Alex, not quite going for a Giratina V-Star, or excuse me, a Giratina V right now.
Yeah, we'll likely see Alex. He could choose to attack with Sableye this turn if he's able to get to 10 in the Lost Zone. Would allow him to take a KO on that active Roaring Moon. That's definitely not a bad option.
I think, did he keep the Roxanne? Pardon us, viewers, we also cannot see through the glare on the table right there. A Super Rod, it looks like some energy back into the deck. A lot of energy in the discard pile, that's where it is.
Energy.
Max, what do you think we're working on right here?
What
do you think Alex is working on right now?
Yeah, I mean, I guess he's just like thinning. I think he's just trying to get to 10 cards in the Lost Zone, and just I think he's just trying to figure out what attacker he can establish. He does have the Sableye in hand, so he could choose to bench it, Mirage Gate to it here. I don't hate that play, and it looks like that is what he's likely going to be doing here.
Like the majority of the Giratina decks we see not playing those turbo elements, not playing a Lost Vacuum, so he couldn't grab the Forest Seal Stone and put it in the Lost Zone to increase the count there.
Yeah, and did end up taking Roxanne like you were saying earlier. Okay. Sam not able to get the Mew EX into play here, so this Roxanne could end up really hurting.
Well, Roxanne sometimes is a lie, I've heard.
Sometimes is a lie.
You get the 2 Dark Patches that you need. All right, Roxanne, for those not familiar, if your opponent has 3 prize cards or less, you draw 6, they draw 2. Sam does top deck the Professor's Research off of that Roxanne, though, so that's the get out of the Roxanne free card.
Yeah, that was about as good of a top deck you could have, or good of a pull off the Roxanne as you could have asked for.
Does draw one of her switch cards, though, so she might have to get rid of that, unfortunately, with the Professor's Research, which would be a pivot for her because she doesn't have any of the retreat cards that she might need later in the game if she gets something stuck in active.
Yeah, and Alex's hand might be a little bit awkward here. It looks like he elected to attach a second Grass Energy for turn onto that Giratina V-Star.
He's only playing 3 of them, so it's going to be challenging for him to get something else powered up.
Yeah, and just going to counter catcher the Greninja for a stall play. So it turns out the switch card
switch
Professor's
cards.
Research were the perfect 2 cards.
I told you, Max. Roxanne sometimes gives you everything you need.
All right, and I think that's a Pokemon catcher, I believe, that she has gotten off the trekking shoes.
So with a Pokemon catcher and a heads.
Oh,
it's
no,
energy
it's an
switch.
E-switch. So just trying to decide if maybe she's thinking, can I E-switch to the healthy Roaring Moon? Gonna decide not to take it.
And there's a Dark Patch.
Even better. So likely see a Dark Patch to that bench Roaring Moon with no damage on it. And then should just be able to switch card and research.
Traditionally here at the Forge, when you play a research with nothing else in your hand, there is a high five that is exchanged. We will see if they decide to do that. Unfortunately, no high five. Sorry, users. That's called a clean research is what we call that in the business. So Sam going to see 7 new cards out there. Research finds another Dark Patch. Does he have a way to get that energy in the discard pile?
Did also find the Pokemon catcher. So could possibly get this Giratina V-Star up. She did decide to go into the Roaring Moon with damage on it. So if she decides to Frenzy Gouge this Giratina V-Star, she will be giving Alex 2 prizes.
She will, at this point, be 1 energy attachment away from winning the game. Alex still at 5 prize cards. I think we might see a Frenzied Gouging right here, taking out this Giratina V-Star.
Makes a lot of sense. I think she doesn't have any energy in the discard, so unable to use that Dark Patch in hand. Just double checking to make sure she doesn't have access to any of those dark energies, and it looks like she does not.
She will have access to 3 energies out of her discard pile, though, if she decides to Frenzied Gouging. It looks like what she's opting to do is take those 2 prize cards. It will be fairly straightforward for her to get this bench Roaring Moon powered up with those Dark Patches. The question is, does she has what she need to get it, the Radiant Greninja, out of the active? If she has an energy switch, that will be likely game in hand for her.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I think, I'm not sure. Let's see, taking a look at Alex's list. He does play 2 Roxannes. So if he's able to get into the second Roxanne, I'm not sure if he lost Thunder or if it's still in the deck. If he's able to get into that second Roxanne, that to me would seem like the way he is able to win this game. So it looks like he has a Pokegear.
He could go get it if he gets a little bit lucky.
He decides to grab it. So let's see. These are a big top 7. If he finds the Roxanne, that is his window back into this game.
Did he find it? It looks like he missed it.
I think he missed. I think he missed supporter completely.
Alex, I'm sorry. So Sam, right now our board state looking pretty good. Alex lacking some attackers. He could retreat into, I think he actually already flower selected with the other Compe as well.
Yeah, I believe he jetted into that one this turn. So
is able to establish some damage onto the Roaring Moon to sort of bring it down a little bit if it were to do a Frenzy Gouging. But even if it knocks itself out in that process, which doesn't look like it'll need to, still not enough prize cards taken to tie the game up to go into a tiebreaker. See a boss's orders coming up here.
That could make things a little bit awkward because I'm not sure if she has access to that second switch card.
Glaring Moltres does have a 2 retreat cost.
2 retreat cost, so depends how many energy switches she has in her hand.
Okay.
Because she could, if she's able to get 3 energy onto the Moltres, would just win with attacking with it.
All right, Dark Patch does not allow you to attach to the active, only to the benched. Does she have an energy switch? She's looking for it. Going to be able to go find some energy with the Earthen Vessel if it still exists in the deck. Can then attach for turn, and then likely retreat. Does have energy in hand as well.
Has access to the concealed cards too, if she does have extra energy in the deck to pitch.
Oh, and the Forest Seal Stone is still alive.
And the Forest Seal Stone, it looks like, yeah, she's flipping it here for the switch card. There we go.
So Forest Seal Stone for a switch card will allow her to pull that Glaring Moltres back to the bench and a Roaring Moon to move up. I think Alex is showing that his hand was full of Battle VIP passes, which is the thing you want to see at the beginning of the game and not at the end of the game. All right, so that was the last game featured here tonight. Thank you, everyone, so much for watching and hanging out with us, even through our technical difficulties. Max, anything you want to say before we head on out and tell everyone about our discount code again?
Yeah, I think it was always great to see all the local scenes show up for these league challenges. A lot of fun to see what people bring to these events, and just want to say thanks to all our watchers and all of our players for showing up today.
Yeah, thank you to you for watching and sticking with us. The best way you can support the stream is doing exactly what you're doing. We love doing this. Max, I love having you here to chat with your extremely deep knowledge of the game. And if you want to support the stream, come support the store as well. Don't forget to use the discount code Pokemon Stream Discount. It directly helps us keep doing this. And if you do want to come play on stream, just come down to the Forge, play on our Tuesday nights, and you might get picked to play on stream, and you get extra packs too.
Yeah, we'd love to see you guys here.
Cool. Thanks everyone for watching. We will be back next Tuesday doing the same thing. We will see you guys then.
Have a good weekend.